the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awijan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today, and I want to deeply apologize for my absence the last few weeks here. Gosh, when was the last episode? Like late December? Has it been that long? Or no, it hasn't been that long. It wasn't late December. But I've been blanking on how long it's been. I mean, it's been a minute, that's for sure. It looks like 3 weeks. Yep, 3 weeks. January 4th. My goodness. So really apologize. It has been about a month. So I'm really sorry. So it's like I was kind of like getting busy. Sometimes I'm overtime, this and that, and then I started not feeling good. And then my voice was all messed up. So it's not like I was sick, like oh my god, like bedridden or anything. But more or less, my voice was messed up. And when I'd record, I'd start coughing like crazy. And I was able to squeeze out my sports shows, but they didn't really sound all that good necessarily. So my apologies for being absent. Obviously, a lot has happened since the last episode. Trump was sworn in. Lots of executive orders. Maybe we'll talk a bit about those. But I also want to get into mounds and stuff like that today. I know you might, it's, like mounds, like or what appear to be mounds, like hills that appear to be mounds. It's amazing how many you see basically around even this area in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Like they look like mounds to me. And I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm weird. And it's always fascinating to think about, when you consider where these things are, it seems like they always turn out to be in parks, park areas, as if to say kind of like, yeah, there's a reason why this place is a park. And a lot of times, like a park, it has this look like in ancient times, this was something. There was something like things going on here in ancient times, maybe thousands of years ago or several hundred years ago, depending on what it is, 800 years or 2,800 years ago, who knows? But, I mean, was it giants? Was it just Native Americans maybe hundreds of years ago, or even giants and Native Americans thousands of years ago? Because obviously the giants were here even before the Native Americans. So I don't know. I mean, and like the size of these quote-unquote mounds, possible mounds, make you wonder that would be more of a giant type of thing versus just a regular hill. Like sometimes a hill is just a hill, obviously, and most of the time it probably is. But again, the fact that it's like land that's being left alone, it's partially maybe it's a beautiful place, this and that, but also it kind of just, I don't know, like there's always these mound type things close to lakes, and you always wonder is it a burial ground of some sort, and is it just kind of being kept under wraps? Like nobody wants to talk about it, or it was kind of kept under wraps many years ago, and now nobody even knows about it anymore, except maybe in some records that have been hidden for over 100 years, stuff like that. You always wonder. You always do wonder. I had a bit of an interesting experience today. I did a reel on the Facebook, or excuse me, the Instagram, which actually I believe links to the Facebook page as well. I believe it does. On the Instagram, freedom_of_thought 1776. Now, this wasn't during what took place, but I was videoing, basically video recording, not videotaping. We can call it videotaping, but video recording what I believe looks like a mound. It's in the park, Bassett Creek Park, Golden Valley, Minnesota, not that far away from here. Remember, I did a video around the Pennsylvania woods, it's called, of an area that really looks like a mound around there. Kind of spooky looking. And if you go up this hill or mound or whatever, it's extremely steep, and you just keep going up, and you get up there, and it's kind of creepy looking. It's kind of scary. And there's these rocks kind of placed in certain areas, and you wonder, did people just put that there just for scenery or whatever, or has it been there for a really long time and it's just being left alone, as if like something else, like some kind of burial ground, something. So you always wonder, and they're really huge rocks, like not something that Native Americans would deal with, something maybe much larger that would be able to deal with those kind of rocks. So I don't know. It's probably, odds are it's nothing, but to me, I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying odds are it's nothing only because it's like, you can't just look at every hill and rocks and stuff and just say, oh, that's a mound, that's a burial ground, giants are there, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes, I don't know, sometimes it looks like there could be something to it. And a lot of times I wonder. So what took place today, it's been a little bit warmer and it's been kind of windy and all that, but today was definitely a chillier day compared to what it's been around here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, of course, Golden Valley in particular, where I'm at, but that's a suburb of Minneapolis, just west of Minneapolis. So I was going up this hill or mound, maybe I'll call it a mound, I guess. Very, very, very steep. You just keep going up, and it's like, man, this thing's huge. It's absolutely huge. You just keep going up. And yes, it's been kind of a consistent wind, like strong breeze, whatever. And especially in the winter, you really feel it more than anything. Because this is winter still, even though it's February the 1st. And again, I apologize. It's been almost a month since the last episode. Can't believe it's been that long. But yes, but it has. Whereas I kept going up the hill, and it's like the wind just started getting stronger and stronger, and you figure, okay, it's just because I'm going up a hill. But then when I got to the top, it's like the wind just got absolutely nuts. Like, I mean, like almost dangerously strong. It was like a knife cutting at my back. Thankfully, it was at my back, at least with the direction I was facing. But I'm standing up there thinking, because I came up from the direction where the wind is blowing so harshly. I'm thinking, how the heck am I going to get back down? I mean, I can get down, sure, but it's going to be really tough. Like, it's going to be blowing right in my eyes. It's going to be like freezing, unbelievably cold, like wind chill, despite the fact that it's not that cold out. But the wind was so strong, you got to think the wind chill is going to be insane. It's not healthy and all of that, and I'm just finally like getting better from this lingering. It started off kind of like a flu type of thing where I couldn't eat much. And then it turned into like a terrible sore throat that lasted about a week with some congestion, and then pink eye. Like, what the heck? Pink eye? Which was painful for a few days. The first couple of days of it were extremely painful. It was bacterial pink eye, which needed antibiotics. The sore throat just wouldn't go away. And I kept thinking it's strep, and it wasn't, and da-da-da. And it's like, I don't know. Last thing I want is to go out there with like a freezing cold wind blowing right in my face. Trying to get down this stupid hill. Like, why did I go up this hill? Why did I go up this mound, this hill? And I started yelling out, peace be still, in the name of Jesus, peace be still. And then it like stopped. And I know, maybe it just stopped, I don't know, but it stopped. And then it picked up again really strongly again. I was like, oh my goodness, what the heck is going on? And my mind kept wandering, like, is this some kind of burial ground or what? And that's when the wind got really strong again, like crazy as I kept getting kind of further into where it started to be more of a wooded area at the top where it looked kind of scary and all that. The wind was blowing like insane. And then I finally started braving it going down the hill. And as I got halfway down, it's like the wind just stopped. Like, yeah. And it's like, okay, when, I've heard cases of things like this before when you're getting close to an area where, like, let's say evil forces don't want you there because you're maybe like, on the other side. Yeah, like me, I would like to believe I'm on the other side of the evil forces. I'm a Christian, born again Christian. And it's like they're just, it's like it's fighting you, like stay away, like an evil force, whatever. It was very interesting. As I got down the hill, the wind just completely stopped then. And then as I got to the bottom, it was blowing again, but nothing like when I was up there. It was blowing again, just kind of a consistent pace, like it pretty much has been most of the day. Like you see, like leaves, like dried up leaves, like bouncing around, this and that, fluttering around like they do, because we haven't had a whole lot of snow, and obviously wind makes things really dry. We had a tiny like dusting of snow today, so sorry about the weather report, but just saying, what was that all about? Was that all just a coincidence? Was it all just a coincidence, or was there something going on there? So I thought that was really interesting. It was just an interesting case of like, what the heck just happened, basically, and what am I looking at, and why did I go up this crazy mound, this crazy hill? Why did I do that anyway? Especially on such a, it's a funky time of year, and plus the fact that, again, the fact that it has been dry and there hasn't been a whole lot of snow. The last few days when it warmed up, the amount of snow that was kind of on the ground, like about an inch or so, was pretty much completely gone. So the ground was dry and easy to access to get up this hill, because it wasn't like a shoveled pathway. It was grassy, brown dormant, whitish brown dormant grass because it's winter. So I had access to this area that I wouldn't have had access otherwise. So all interesting coincidences, all kind of in the same place. Like the fact that I had access to it, I had this curiosity to go up there, and then all that weird breeze started happening, really strong wind was taking place. I mean, you can't even use the word breeze. It was too strong to be a breeze. And it was kind of like a get out of here, basically, kind of a vibe. But what was also weird is it wasn't really blowing me away from going into the woods. It was trying to like make me to continue, like creepy, make me to continue, and also like to scare me. Like obviously that's what an enemy wants more than anything, is to scare you. Like, yeah, now you can't get out, haha, because it's too cold and all that. So it was real weird. I'm just saying it was weird. Again, is it just a bunch of coincidences and I'm just some weird guy with an imagination? Maybe, but I don't know. That's why this is called freedom of thought, because, well, I mean, it's opening up our thoughts here on this show. And I thought I would share that with you today. And I did share a bit of it on the Instagram as well. The audio is pretty lousy because there is like a consistent wind blowing into it. And plus, I mean, it's a 3-year-old phone. I mean, 3-year-old phone that gets used every day is probably a bit beat up. I think the speaker's a bit messed up or something. So I wouldn't doubt it is a little bit after all the years, that I've been using it. Got a new one in the mail coming. Checked in the mail, right? No. So sorry for that random update as well. But interesting. It was an interesting experience. Kind of scary, but interesting as well. There's just the coincidences and the timing of everything as well. Again, once I yelled peace be still in Jesus' name, how it stopped suddenly. But then it was like, okay, I'm going to keep going, because obviously, that kind of stuff happens as well. It was like it responded, but then was like, I'm going to keep going again. I don't know. Really interesting. Weird and kind of scary. So thought I'd share that with you at the end of the day. And obviously something like that. It's a public place, and they even play frisbee golf around there. There's frisbee golf stuff there. So I can't imagine it's this big, haunted, creepy place necessarily all the time. But when nobody's there, and this curious person who is thinking about what could possibly be an interesting, all the wind's blowing like crazy outside, but I know, it's not related. I know, I'm just, sorry. But just the timing of everything, and, like this curious person who might be thinking differently than just, I'm going to play frisbee golf on a nice, spring or fall or summer day. Somebody who had a different mindset going there, like, what is this place all about? It looks like something else. It doesn't look like just like an area where you just kind of have fun. And plus, it's not constructed like it's man-made, because it's not man-made. Because the height kind of continues into a wooded area. It's not like this, roundish shaped hill like in Brooklyn Park. That's clearly just a man-made thing. Even, but then again, somebody could call that a mound easily. Yet I don't think it is. I think that's just a man-made constructed thing in Brooklyn Park as a frisbee golf place. This looks different to me. It just does. And I think it is different. It's got a totally different vibe, especially with the wooded area, and it's kind of scary. So thought I'd bring that up. Again, the Pennsylvania woods again, and the fact that it's like this untouched area where there's residential stuff everywhere, and then it's just kind of an untouched area, and there's mounds inside there as well. Well, or what appear to be mounds. Like one thing absolutely, positively looks like a mound. Obviously, the modern times they constructed steps going up there, but it's kind of just going up into this weird area that kind of leads to nothing. And what's going on up there? It's very strange. So that was something I may have talked about a little bit on a recent episode. That was the day after Christmas when I went up there, December 26th. I don't know if I talked about it or not. I was saying my attempt to capture the steepness of this hill or mound. It's pretty steep. That's why it feels like a mound to me. Plus, how all the roads suddenly stop in this spot. Yeah, everything just kind of stops. Like there's roads and everything, and then it's just like, nope, can't go any further. It's very strange. Like it's some kind of area that can't be interrupted. Like leave it alone. And nobody talks about the reason why. So that's what makes me wonder. That's what makes my mind wonder and freedom of thought. Like this could have been like a subsidiary episode, like called what was it called? Forest Adventures, because that's kind of what it is, a forest adventure. So I might even I was even actually thinking of rebranding the show completely and changing the name to Forest Adventures rather than Freedom of Thought 1776, because I don't want to make this just a political show. I mean, it's like, or it could just keep this one as a political show and then create a different show. Like, what was that? What was I thinking about yesterday evening? Oh man, I had something and now, doggone it, and I didn't write it down. It was a very interesting one, to say the least. I think I tried to Google to see if there was a podcast that had the name, and it didn't look like there was. It'd be nice if I could see a list showing up, but doggone, it doesn't look like it's here anymore. Mysterious Adventures Podcast. Yeah, and there's no evidence of a Mysterious Adventures podcast. So, yeah, because this to me is a mysterious adventure. Yeah, and Mysterious Adventures could also lead into like all that other conversation that I talk about, and then freedom of thought could remain more political, stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, for now, I think we'll just leave things as they are. But it's an idea. It's a thought. Maybe if you're out there listening, would you like me to do that? Create yet another podcast, and then maybe make the Freedom of Thought logo more of like the American flagish again, and try to somehow recreate this mysterious forest look that I like so much, and bring that to the what's it called, Mysterious Adventures podcast. Try to figure out something, because I mean, I haven't been able to find that background again. It's gone. It's like it disappeared off the face of the earth. So maybe I can find it again and create the logo. But just give me your thoughts if you think I should do that, or just leave everything as it is. Just kind of leave this as kind of a combined show where I'll sometimes talk politics, sometimes maybe more often talk about this, but obviously you get political a little bit. It could be a combination of things, because obviously for now, it might be interesting to talk a little bit about some of the what do they call them? The executive orders that Trump signed, which a lot of them I agree with for the most part. Some of them I might not even, This is really cool. I like a lot of this. Yep, some of them are like common sense. Celebrating America's 250th birthday. Yep. So those are all pretty cool, pretty exciting. These were signed like very recently. So some of them go back. Yeah, it's tons and tons and tons were signed on January 20th when Trump took office, that actual day. So, all kinds of stuff. And ending the weaponization of the federal government. Yeah, like say throwing people in prison, like as a political prisoner, stuff like that. So it's kind of tough, though. That's the one thing that can make it hard, is transitioning from, like talking about mounds and mysterious stuff, adventures in the forest, and now going into Trump's executive orders. So people might think that's a little weird. Maybe I should split this up. So yes, for now, I'll split it into two different segments. I'll put in a bumper song or whatever and split it up. So my apologies here about that. But that's interesting. Again, I mean, these mysterious, like where the roads just completely stop, and then it gets kind of what looked like to me. I'm telling you, they look like burial grounds of some sort. Again, it could be Native American, but I don't know, or it could be something much more ancient, even before the Native Americans. So Native Americans knew about the giants, and the conversation is, yeah, they did. Like a lot of times they'll say, no, we didn't build this whatever, these artifacts or whatever. It was something before us. Like, they're honest about it. They're not like, oh, we did it. They're actually honest about it. And the whole conversation, how people, how they, the Native Americans in the past would hold up their hand, 5 fingers, or 4 fingers and a thumb. How? A lot of they say that actually was to check to see if the people coming were actually those giants, those hybrid creatures, giant creatures, because they would have 5 fingers and a thumb. So it's like 6 total, 5 fingers and a thumb when they'd hold up their hand, and then it's like it could be a battle ensuing, because obviously they knew those giant type characters were evil. They were evil. Those obviously they're not good. They're hybrids, and anything that's a hybrid is not good. There's a reason why God wanted them wiped out. They're creations from the devil. So interesting and frightening, to say the least. Am I speaking like a fool here today? I sure hope not, at the end of the day. So with that said, I am going to take a quick break. I'll end this segment and come back, and we'll talk about talk about some of the executive orders signed by President Donald J. Trump. And we are back here on Freedom of Thought. Apparently it's episode 110, so pretty cool. Now we're in 110, so it's a new group here, I guess you could say. Pretty cool, pretty crazy stuff. So I guess how we transitioned into this after talking about some mysterious adventures in the woods and such, going up hills and having crazy experiences a little bit. It felt like something was different about that. Anyhow, the executive orders. The very first executive order signed on January 20th was ending the weaponization of the federal government. So that's extremely fascinating, kind of like what they did to what Biden and others, how they were trying to, persecute Donald Trump and trying to lock him up before he could even run for president. And that whole January 6th situation, which felt absolutely like a bunch of nonsense. There were some people that were rowdy. There were some people that committed crimes that day. But to completely brush the whole thing with a broad stroke and turn everybody into a felon and lock them up for, in some cases, 18 years, like Joe Biggs, they tried to lock him up for 18 years, and Trump pardoned him, so that's a good thing. I know Joe Biggs is somebody who's been on Alex Jones many times. From what's been said, there's no reason in God's green earth that he should be in prison for 18 years. It's absolutely sick in a bad way. Executive Order 14148, initial recessions of harmful executive orders and actions. That's interesting. The next one, 49, I'll just say the 14149, restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship. So there you go. Now, one thing a while back, I remember when I said I censored a call-in. This was Ray from Kentucky. I didn't censor the call. I censored the swearing. So I probably worded it wrong. I may have worded it wrong, but I just censored the actual swearing. I didn't censor the call. I just censored out the swearing because people don't necessarily want to hear effing C. You can fill in what swear words those are. I just don't think people want to hear that very much, especially on a show that I would consider Christian. But I had nothing against Ray at all. I loved everything he was saying except the cursing. I just didn't think it's necessary. I was just editing out the cursing. I wasn't censoring the call like, oh, sorry. So just kind of thought I'd mention that just in case 1 in a million chance of Ray, or well, maybe 1 in 1,000 chance of Ray, or somebody who knows Ray is listening. I did not censor the call. I censored the swearing. So hopefully I said that correctly. 14150, America First Policy Directive to Secretary of State. Okay, so yes, keep things America first rather than letting these other countries rip us off. Here we go. 14151, ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. Yes, that way people can get jobs on merit rather than, the color of their skin or their sexual preference, which is not fair. People work their butts off, and we don't have enough of this here with this group here or that group here. So, sorry, I know you've worked your butt off for 15 freaking years, and you probably should have had a job about 5 years ago, but we're going to keep passing you by because we don't have enough of, we got to get the quota up above of this group and that group. That is complete, utter bullcrap, to say the least. So that's how I feel about DEI. It needs to DIE. It does. Absolutely. It's absolute garbage, and it needs to stop. It is divisive, and it's garbage. It needs to go. So, yes. I mean, being stuck in the same job when you should be, in a different position, you absolutely can do the job, and you've seen some of the people that get hired, not trying to, be a jerk and trash on anybody, but they don't even appreciate the job. They act like, yeah, I got it, and yeah, look at me, I'm so great, and they're all happy with themselves, and they're just proud and arrogant, and you would accept the job much more humbly, and you'd appreciate it more than they would. Yet they get it, and it's like when they didn't really do anything to earn it, and it's not fair. It's bullcrap. Next one: holding former government officials accountable for election interference and improper disclosure of sensitive governmental information. Interesting. Yeah, which could have taken place in the last election in 2020. Oh, yes, absolutely. That is a really interesting one. That's like a warning, whereas like probably why Biden, he probably saw this coming and why he pardoned, because I never talked about this, pardoned several family members, including Hunter, of course, and even the notorious, evil, demonic Dr. Fauci, who clearly is responsible for millions of deaths and doesn't give a rat's you-know-what. He wants to have his billions of dollars, which I wouldn't doubt Dr. Fauci is worth hundreds of millions of dollars because of this vaccine. Hundreds of millions of dollars. So he probably is, and he's laughing at all of us like, what are you going to do about it? And he's such an arrogant jerk. Ugh. How can you stand him? Next, unleashing Alaska's extraordinary resource potential. That's called Drill Baby Drill. Yep. And yes, that can definitely get things going back in the right direction, which messed things up so bad in early 2021 and why you saw gas prices soaring when Mr. Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline, among other things, all under the guise of climate change. What a bunch of crap. 141.54, unleashing American energy. So that's also related. 141.55, withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization. The WHO. Who the heck are they? Yeah, that. So people that are like, the Dr. Fauci's of the world who think the WHO are probably bigger than God himself. I don't know if Fauci even knows there's a, that's how he behaves like he's a God himself. Dr. Fauci, among many others, act as if they're God themselves, and a small g God, of course. But well, he's going to wind up without repenting, he's going to wind up in the same place as these small g gods, all these fallen angels, and whatever the heck, principalities and such. He's going to wind up in the same place. Oh yeah, if he doesn't repent. I'm not celebrating the thought of anybody going to hell. No. But if, see, this was an executive order 13987 at the time by Joseph Biden, on January 20th, 2021. Yeah, So it revoked that. That's an interesting one with the World Health Organization. A lot of stuff went absolutely berserk that year. Next, 14156. These are all executive order, of course. Declaring a national energy emergency. That's, again, the drill, baby, drill. That's related to that. I remember him saying that at the time. 14157, pardon me. Designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations, especially designated global terrorists. Yes. Yes. And in a lot of ways, I'm telling you, remember that George Washington dream that I talked about several episodes ago? I think it was back in the summer, I believe, or even the spring. Yeah, it might have been one of those rainy May or June days in the summer. I think it was a rainy day when they were talking about it was a while back. Yeah, it might have been the same episode with the Lincoln Ghost. I might have been outside by the fire, actually, where George Washington had a vision. It wasn't a dream; it was a vision with an angel in one of the tents there during the Revolutionary War, where I believe the angel showed him the Revolutionary War was up and coming, then the Civil War, or was it World War, something like maybe it was the Civil War. It was the future Civil War, the World War II, I believe. And then something that hasn't happened yet, which was like a massive invasion of the United States. And he said it was by far the most frightening vision of all, where millions of people would be in combat, but the United States would emerge victorious. Could it be related to some of this coming up? Could it be coming up pretty soon? It's fascinating, where it's like massive invasion a massive invasion of the United States. We're talking an unbelievable war that scared George Washington so much, like more than a world war, more than the Civil War. That's incredible. Could it be related somehow, some way, like to some of this going on right now? Like it hasn't happened yet, obviously, but it's fascinating. Executive Order 14158. See, I've been thinking that as well. I can do a whole episode on that maybe sometime. Put things together, talking about that Washington vision, and I would like to do a specific episode about that, but. Yeah. Next, establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. Okay. Yes. So, having people actually show up to work, having people actually do work, not just kind of screwing around, and eliminating some jobs because you're just throwing money away. They're not doing anything. They're just staying home in their jammies, as they might call it, and doing basically nothing. So it's like, yeah, some of those jobs should be eliminated. They're just collecting money, basically, doing nothing. Kind of like a certain evil doctor. Yeah, anyhow, next, protecting 14159, protecting the American people against invasion. Again, Washington's vision. Washington's vision. Ooh-wee. Yeah. 14160, protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. Again, Washington's vision. Yes, American citizenship, not, I'll do whatever the bleep I want. I'm here, na-na-na-boo-boo, and I'm going to have anchor babies and all that kind of stuff. No, there has to be a meaning and value of American citizenship. If you think this is racist, you are a racist. And I have noticed certain groups, let's just say a certain group, single group, of people that has been astoundingly mean as heck the last 5 or so years. For whatever reason, you just go to the restaurant that they serve this certain kind of food from a certain place south of the border, and they're mean as hell all the time. And I don't understand it. You did nothing to them, but they're mean as hell. So it just seems like there's some kind of arrogance and meanness and pride when you have no ill will towards them. They're probably legal citizens, so why are you so mean? Just relax. Stop it. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't understand the anger and the hatred. Just relax. For heaven's sake. I mean, we're giving you business, first of all. So, anyhow, I have been noticing this for a while, and yes, in public places all the time, too. It's like, it's just this surly attitude, and it needs to stop. Next, I know, I'm sorry. Protecting the United States from foreign terrorists and other national security and public safety threats. You notice how there's a trend here? Yeah, it keeps happening. And yes, again, the surly attitude was way before these executive orders were even thought of. We're talking way back. It's just this, I don't know, it's some surly attitude, and I didn't notice it before. It didn't seem to be there. But it's just, it needs to stop. 14162, putting America first in international environmental agreements. Yeah, It's like, stop ripping us off, other countries. You just name the list. 14163, realigning the United States Refugee Admissions Program. All right. Interesting. 14164, restoring the death penalty and protecting public safety. Interesting. Yep. 14165, securing our borders. Yes, and I've been noticing also that a coworker who did vote for Trump showed me that the wall that's out there, that again, obviously, even Dan Barrero locally, who's like a super left wing, knows that there's a problem at the border. Like, this is bullcrap. You can't just wander on in. That they're actually putting a very thick barbed wire on the walls now, like spirals, very large spirals that would be pretty much impossible to bypass. So that's good. That's kind of getting things stronger. How racist? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sure you'd love us invading your country. So I'm sure you'd love it. I'm sure you'd just absolutely love millions of Americans or whatever else, anything else, just walking in through your borders like we don't give a crap. We're going to do whatever we want. How would you feel? Tell me how you'd feel. I know my wife in Vietnam would hate it. So believe me. Anyhow, next. Application 14166, application of protecting Americans from foreign adversary controlled applications. Act to TikTok. So that's kind of bringing TikTok back in the fold. I remember how it was kind of shut down and then brought back. It's kind of interesting. How it was brought back within hours. So, yes, TikTok, I don't enjoy the dancing. I don't want to see some stuck-up preppy chick dancing in front of the camera like she's the greatest thing in the history of mankind, or God's gift to men, or whatever. I'm not there for that. I couldn't, seriously, the pride and arrogance of people like that drives me nuts. The self-love. I could do a whole episode about that. The absolute self-love. Lovers of themselves. Those self-love stickers gotta go. Do you know what you're doing? Those gotta go. I mean, I've seen people work laptops that say self-love and profile pictures that say self-love. It's gotta go. That's not of God at all. That's evil. It's okay to respect yourself, but when you're in love with yourself, something's wrong. Next, clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. A lot of this does sound like something that's going to happen. That's something that's leading towards something. It really does. 14168, defending women from gender ideology, extremism, and restoring biological truth to the federal government. Yeah, like it's really a guy. Yeah, that kind of thing. It's really a girl, and obviously the two genders. I believe that's what it is, man and woman. It is what it is. If you're a gay man, I guess so be it, but you're still a man. If you're a gay woman, so be it, but you're still a woman. So be it. And God gave you the choice. It might not be the right one, but God gave you the choice. So, because he's fair. Because he's fair. Like, if you choose to follow one thing or another, that's his choice. He gave you the choice. He's not just forcing you to be something, because then that wouldn't be fair, would it? Next. And plus, who would want a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, or a friend, anybody, whatever it is? I'm just using that as an analogy, not because you're God's boyfriend. I'm just saying, who would want anybody to be their friend or their whatever, their wife or whatever, by force? Who would really want that? There'd be nothing there. Like, if they didn't choose it and they're just a slave, well, what kind of garbage is that? So, of course, God wants to be fair. This one, 14170. Reforming the federal hiring process and restoring merit to government service. Yep, that's pretty self-explanatory. 14171, restoring accountability to policy influencing positions within the federal workforce. Sounds awesome. 14172, restoring names that honor American greatness. Yes. Rather than tearing down their dang statues. Especially, the whole George Floyd riots that made no sense. They made no sense. Let's see, Abraham Lincoln, the Emancipation Proclamation. Yeah, let's tear down his statue. Ulysses S. Grant, who risked his life, basically halfway killed himself as general of the Union Army, and then became president and fought again as president of the United States for the minorities that were freed, the slaves that were freed. You're going to tear down his statue too and set it on fire? Does that make sense? Anyone out there? I don't see anybody raising their hands. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, 140. Yep. I mean, I just get shaky angry when I saw that. I was so. I just, I just stormed out of the room and turned off the TV and went out for a walk. I couldn't stand it. Just the arrogance and stupidity of it all. Your riots are garbage, and I don't want to see it. To me, like any credibility that anybody had, it was done at that point. Anybody had to argue about anything after I saw stupidity like that. 141.73, ending illegal discrimination and restoring merit-based opportunity. Well, there you go. Exactly. Yes, you get a job based on merit, not on anything else. Not on anything else. You earned the job. That's all it should be. 141.74, revocation of certain executive orders. Okay, that's interesting. Next, this is interesting. 141.75, designation of Ansar Allah as a foreign terrorist organization. Here we go. Huge. 141.76, declassification of records concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. Something a lot of us have been waiting for most of our life. Yep, fascinating stuff, to say the least. Unfortunately, you get people, guests going on Dan Barrero and such. Basically, yep, it was a lone gunman no matter what, da-da-da-da-da. And yeah, there's some new stuff, but it was still a lone gunman. Yeah, thanks. BS. I don't believe it. And it was still just the same guy, It was Oswald. I don't know, man. I really don't know about that. Next, 141.77. I mean, I really don't know. I think it's a lot deeper than that. I mean, way deeper. Because, what's his name even said? Vice President LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, who became the president after Kennedy's assassination. That SOB, he said the whole word, will never embarrass me again, or something. Something Kennedy said, he just was like, that SOB will never embarrass me again. And it was right around that same time when the assassination happened. You don't think LBJ was possibly involved in the death of John F. Kennedy somehow, some way, with the CIA? You don't think so? I think it's deeper than I really do. Call me crazy, call me a conspiracy theorist, put my tinfoil hat on. I'm telling you, it's deeper than that. 141.77, President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Okay, that's like maybe involving like some of that Mars stuff. 141.78, strengthening American leadership in digital financial technology. Interesting. Okay, it revoked something Biden put in on March 9th, 2022. 141.79, removing barriers to American leadership in artificial intelligence. Interesting. That one, I'm going to do an episode on artificial intelligence one day. I just haven't gotten around to it, and I'm sorry. AI scares me. It really, I'm terrified of it. It reeks of like Revelation. It really does. I don't know. Next, I just when I see those, like, and it's scary. You could literally like frame somebody for murder. You could frame somebody for saying something they didn't say. It's creepy, man. I don't like artificial intelligence. I really don't. It's one thing if it can make like a nice, pretty picture, but at the same time, it's creepy too. At the same time, and some of the stuff people do, and well, when it starts talking to you about certain things and goes deep into these conversations, like basically saying it was once a Nephilim many years ago, and now it's this spirit. Yeah, it's really creepy. That's demonic stuff, man. It is it's like a virtual Ouija board. It's like a Ouija board. Kind of like the device, the apps on your phone that can be like ghost radar stuff. I used to open that up and it's curiosity, and it's like a Ouija board. Don't mess with that stuff, man. It's demonic. Next, Council to assess the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Next, I better move a little quicker here. Emergency measures to provide water resources in California and improve disaster response in certain areas. Yeah, like water. Yeah, I like when he said that. I wonder how much longer this goes. Oh, that's not too far anymore. Okay, just a few more. I'll make it quicker here. Enforcing the Hyde Amendment. Okay, that revokes something that Biden signed on July the 8th, 2022. Right, not too far away from, I remember it was like around August when I was recovering from my one bout with COVID. And I mean, only one. After I got immune, everything was fine. But my doctor kept trying to shove that vaccine down my throat. And I kept saying, I'm sorry, no. And boy, he hated me for that. He didn't really hate me. He disliked me for that. He's a nice guy, but man, he couldn't believe that I wouldn't get a vaccine. And it's like, no. Okay. Enforcing the Hyde Amendment, prioritizing military excellence and readiness. Okay, yep, that has to do with the, some of that DEI stuff, I'm sure. 14184. Reinstating service membership discharged under the military's COVID-19 vaccination mandate. Yep, so like how they were shoving soldiers and all that out the door for not wanting a vaccine. At least that's what it sounds like. 14185, restoring America's fighting force. Similar. 14186, the Iron Dome for America. Interesting. 14187, protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Yes, how people are letting their kids go through that tranny surgery when they're just a little kid. They're just a little kid. Like you have like a minute, like Johnny over there picked up a Barbie doll. That doesn't mean he's a girl, okay? Or Jenny over there likes to shoot baskets, likes to shoot hoops and play baseball and softball. It doesn't mean she's a guy. Come on, nonsense, folks. Likes to play with tools and build things. It doesn't mean it's a dude. It might be a tomboy a little bit. Maybe the guy just picked up the Barbie doll, but that it's a phase that's going to go away. That doesn't mean they're a girl. Like they're not secretly a girl. 14188, additional measures to combat anti-Semitism. Okay, good, very good. There it is, 14189. I mentioned this already. Celebrating America's 250th birthday. 7626, yep. 2026, 1776, that's 20, yep. Coming up, July 4th in in about a year and a half. Second last one, 14190, ending radical indoctrination in K through 12 schooling. Yes, kind of shoving political nonsense down people's throats, particularly about yes. You can guess the subjects. I'll try not to get into it, but yes. Well, you can guess the subjects. That boy and girl thing, that I was just talking about. Oh no, you're a girl. You're a girl, Johnny. We're gonna call you Jenny next week. Yeah, Jill, you're gonna be Jack, okay? Because I know you like to build things with the hammer and hammers and nails, putting things together like carpentry. You're gonna be Jack from now on, and we're gonna we're gonna indoctrinate you into that stuff. Leave them alone. Dang it. Last one, expanding educational freedom and opportunity for families. Okay, good. Lots of stuff, and I would say I agree with most of it. Yes, pretty much all of it. Pretty much all of it. The AI stuff scares the crap out of me, and I'll do a show about that someday. Hope that wasn't too tedious for anybody listening, but it's interesting, and I got to talk about it here, and I'm not coughing. This is wonderful. Heck, even when I did Timberwolves Explosion yesterday, I still had to pause a couple times to cough. I didn't cough. Hey, praise the Lord. So, this is great. Absolutely great. Thank you, Lord. Praise you, Lord. And I can't believe the Timberwolves are losing to a team that's won 6 games all year. It's NBA basketball. I can't believe what I'm watching right now. This is weird, man. You guys better step it up immediately. It's late. So, Timberwolves Explosion here on Freedom of Thought. Little live conversation, right? Well, not really. But this has been a longer episode, of course. I had an interesting experience with the Mounds, and then I went into the conversation with all the executive orders. And it's nice to have a president that loves this country and, is hearing the voices that are tired of a lot of this garbage that was shoved down our throats for 4 years. And in some ways, even before that. In some ways, even before that, where maybe people might have been scared to kind of get into some of these topics because they might see it as controversial, they might see it as divisive, and da-da-da-da-da. But eventually, it's like, finally, the public has had enough of a lot of this, getting shoved down our throats constantly. People have woken up to it now without being awakened up to it. People have awakened to this nonsense of all shapes and sizes. People that voted Democrat their whole life, they're finally like, you know what? This is BS. This is absolute bullcrap, and we're done with it. It's over. Like, you're not gonna, it's one thing, you decide to be this or that. It's another that you're just gonna, jump in because Johnny picked up a Barbie doll last week, and we're turning him into a girl. He's a girl. No, enough. That's enough. Enough. At the end of the day, like I talked about Jenny picking up the tools or whatever, working with the screwdriver and all that, being handy, fixing a chair maybe that had a screw loose or something, literally or figuratively. I'm just kidding. Yes, sir. But again, I want to thank you so much for listening. I really do. I hope this was a quality podcast, a quality episode. Gerald, your generosity and kindness is, I love you. I truly do. Gerald String out of South Dakota. Mark Carlson, I love you too. A lot of you listening, thank you. Thank you that have listened to the show. There's a link now in the show description to Give, Send, Go. If you'd like to support this show, there's a link there, one time or monthly or whatever. It's all up to you. I believe as low as 99 cents. If you want to just give 99 cents once, that's okay. If you want to turn that into a monthly thing, you can do that. So I believe there's all kinds of different ways you can go about it. And Give, Send, Go is a Christian company. It's not like one of those other groups like like PayPal, which could shut us all down because I said something they don't like, that type of thing. But maybe with some of these executive orders, they won't be able to do that as much now. Like shut people down just for giving an opinion on something. Like I don't agree with this teacher here telling a third grader that he's a girl. Maybe I don't agree with that. Oh, canceled, done. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But Give, Send, Go, a Christian page, and really appreciate them very much. I'm very happy to be a part of that. Truth to Ponder is a part of that as well if you want to donate to him. Truth to Ponder, even I believe, what's his name? What's it called? The Off-Grid Power and Information podcast with Jim Calhoun. Yeah, I believe you could. So huge shout outs to them. I don't think Jim, I've never even interacted with Jim. Bob's probably forgotten I exist by now because I haven't emailed him forever. But just mentioning them, love what those guys do. I'll probably get in touch with them again soon. Maybe 1 in a million chance to get one of them on the show, even for a short segment. That'd be cool. Got to get some guests on this show. But again, you're more than welcome to call in with your smart device audio submission, or even be a guest if you'd like. You can email me at paladinolive@yahoo.com. paladinolive@yahoo.com. And just in case Ray from Kentucky's listening, I'd love to hear from you again. I would. I was a big fan. I just censored out the swearing. That's all. If we can keep this swearing down, maybe keep it to hell and damn and BS, stuff like that, versus some of the crazy stuff. His calls were very intelligent and very passionate, and he's a great patriot. So Azari cut me off a long time ago, but because I don't know, probably thought I'm just some milquetoast person who's going to censor his call, and that's not what I meant to say. So, and I apologize, just in case somebody who knows Ray is listening. So with that said, thank you so much for listening. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.